Okay, my first grade friends, it looks like it was semi-successful, so I'm going to keep reading Mr. Cooper is Super. We are going to pick up, oops, I accidentally left off one page last time. Teacher mistake. So I'll read that one first. All the smoke and lights and humming stopped. I looked at Michael. Michael looked at Ryan. Ryan looked at Neil. Neil looked at Alexia. Alexia looked at me. Then we all looked at Mr. Granite. He was staring at the spaceship. A ramp slid down from the bottom of the ship, and you'll never believe, in 1,000,000 years, who walked out. I'm not going to tell you. Okay, I'll tell you, but you have to read the next chapter. So, na-na-na-na-boo-boo, on you. Chapter 3, Mr. Granite is from another planet. It was Mr. Granite! Well, it wasn't our Mr. Granite, because he was standing right next to us. But the alien who came down from the ramp of the spaceship looked just like Mr. Granite. Our teacher, Mr. Granite, just stood there with a look of wonder on his face. Who are you? We all asked the alien, who looked just like Mr. Granite. I am Mr. Granite, said the alien. You can't be Mr. Granite, said Andrea. Mr. Granite is our teacher, and he's standing right here. I am Mr. Granite, repeated the alien, who looked just like Mr. Granite. And you'll never believe, in 1,000,000 years, what happened next. 10 more aliens climbed out of the spaceship and came down the ramp, and every one of them looked just like Mr. Granite. Who are you guys? We all asked. I am Mr. Granite. I am Mr. Granite. I am Mr. Granite. In case you were wondering, all the aliens were saying, I am Mr. Granite. That was weird. Will the real Mr. Granite please stand up? I asked. They're all the real Mr. Granite, said our teacher, Mr. Granite. They have come from my home planet, Etenarg. Yes, said the first alien. Everybody on Etenarg is named Mr. Granite. Etenarg is granite spelled backward. Wow, a whole planet filled with guys named Mr. Granite? That must get confusing. I guess when somebody on Etenarg calls out, Hey, Mr. Granite, everybody turns around. So all the men on your planet look exactly the same? Asked Ryan. Yes, said Mr. Granite, and so do all the women. What? Even the women look like Mr. Granite? In fact, said one of the alien Mr. Granites, half of us are women. Ew! How do they tell the difference between men and women? I didn't want to know. Our teacher, Mr. Granite, went over and hugged one of the alien Mr. Granites. Then all the other Mr. Granites went over to hug our Mr. Granite. Everybody was hugging everybody else. Mr. Granite, said Mr. Granite. Mr. Granite, said the alien, who looked just like Mr. Granite.
Mommy, don't shut the door.
Mr. Granite, Mr. Granite, Mr. Granite. All the Mr. Granites were hugging each other and crying because they hadn't seen our Granite in so long. It was like a meeting of Elvis impersonators, except they looked like Mr. Granite instead of Elvis. Did the Earthlings harm you in any way? One of the Mr. Granites asked our Mr. Granite. No, Mr. Granite told Mr. Granite. These are my students, and they were good to me. On Earth, we're very well behaved, said Andrea, who's such a brown-noser that she'll even kiss up to aliens from other planets. What about the larger Earthlings? Asked one of the Mr. Granites. They have been very kind to me, said Mr. Granite. The principal of the school even gave me a key to the teacher's lounge. The teacher's lounge is a magical secret place where they have hot tubs, back rubs, and all the ice cream and candy you can eat. Are you going to take over the world and turn us into flesh-eating robots? I asked one of the Mr. Granites. I saw that in a movie once. It was cool. No, said all the Mr. Granites. Are you going to turn us into killer zombie robot slaves? Asked Michael. No, said all the Mr. Granites. Then why are you here? Asked Alexia. We have come to... The alien Mr. Granite didn't have the chance to finish his sentence because at that very moment, our principal, Mr. Koletz, came running out onto the playground. He has no hair at all. I mean, none. His head is so shiny, it squeaks. What's the meaning of this, says Mr. Klutz. Is this some kind of a joke? No, a joke would be like, question, what's the difference between a guitar and a fish? Answer, you can't tune a fish. Get it? Tune a fish. Tune a fish. Anyway, the point is that Mr. Klutz totally doesn't know what a joke is. These men and women are from the planet Etenarg, Andrea told Mr. Klutz. Their names are Mr. Granite. I figured that, said Mr. Klutz. They all look just like our Mr. Granite. To what do we owe the pleasure of your company, Mr. Granites? That's grown-up talk for, what are you doing here? We have a very important mission, said one of the alien Mr. Granites. We have come to take your Mr. Granite home with us to Etenarg. What? Okay, my friends, instead of reading the next chapter, I am going to take you on a quick little tour over in my house to go see Frodo. First, this is my littlest one, Bree. Bree, can you wave hi? She's cleaning our house with Clorox wipes. So now we're going to go over to the boys' room where Frodo is. Please ignore the mess of the boys' room. Legos everywhere. And in here, you can see him. There is our bearded dragon, Frodo. That's what Frodo looks like. He's not looking around right now, but that's what he looks like in his terrarium. And next time I video, I will take him out so that you can actually see him up closer. I'm videoing. Say hi to my first graders. And that's my son, Branson, enjoying his quarantine in his room, of course, because he's 13. Okay, so hello. I know you haven't gotten to see me in a week, so here I am, and I miss you all very much, and I will keep trying to send these videos to you. Cross my fingers that they work, and I'll keep reading to you because you know that I love to read to you. Until next time.